All right, we are
Cool.
recording.
Yeah, looks like we're recording. Yeah. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. This is great. Got a full house here. We have Paige Datacom, David Coleman, and then Tony Campbell is the host. He's one of like the best meeting organizers, holders. He's really good. So I'm really excited about this. Paige Datacom just joined the LVN family as a vendor recently. You'll hear all about it, but it's some really cool stuff that they got going on here with their GameChanger cable. But yeah, my name is Blake, and welcome everybody once again. And I'm going to kick it straight over to Tony. If you're ready, Tony, just go ahead and have at it.
I believe I am. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is jump right into this, and I just want to keep up our screen. So as everybody can see my screen okay?
Yep, looks good.
Excellent. All right. So I'm just going to kind of keep my participant window over here so I can catch anybody that might be coming in. But first of all, everybody, thank you very much. And we're really excited to be part of Low Voltage Nation. Thank you, Blake, for having us, and everybody that's already members. We're very excited to now be a sponsor and a member within this organization. So the reason for this today is really to kind of kick off and get a lot of you that may or may have not heard about the GameChanger. We're kind of taking the market. We're getting very much noticed because we're listening to the market, and we created a product that we believe you're going to love, and we call it the GameChanger. So with myself right now, you can see David Coleman. He's also joining us. I might have some signal issues, so if there's any interruption, forgive me. I live in Florida, so we're having some lightning, so I'm just preparing anybody if there is a glitch. David will be jumping in and taking over for us here. But in the meantime, just kind of as we get through this, we're just kind of explain to you what the cabling is. So Paige, we're a 62-year-old employee-owned company. We're just a bunch of wire and cable nerds that love what we do, and we're very excited about what we do. And when we've been making category cables and all types of infrastructures for many, many years, and some of you might already know the Paige name, but we do a lot of OEM, we do a lot of different things. But really, there was a very clear situation that was going on a few years ago in the market. And my background is 30 years, give or take, on all kinds of different ways, but in the cabling space. And when we've been in category worlds, when we used to have the old bake-offs and different things, it was a lot of fun back then, but it really kind of got stagnant in the copper space on any new revolutionary type of solutions until the GameChanger. So basically, when we sat down as a team, we were working with our complementary manufacturers and different partners out there in the space. And they said, look, there's an obvious problem that's going on, and I know you know about it, and it's distance, but here's our issue. And it started in the CCTV space. They said, look, we got a lot of cameras out there. They're 500 foot. They're running on old analog coax systems. They're great. They've been doing wonderful. But now our customers want to make the transition to the IP PoE space. And be able to do this, that infrastructure is just not going to be able to handle what they can do. And we're like, that is obviously a major issue here. So let's see what we can do. So it was really identifying and trying to quantify if this is really something the market wants. We hear about it all the time, but let's just really kind of put the pencil to paper and see if it makes sense. And when we were identifying these things, what we found is there was a lot of cost savings to be had. And some of these things that you see from the bullet points right here, and these are just one of many, there's a lot more we can list, but hardware was always a cost that we're always identifying. It's whether we're budgeting for it, we're maintaining it, our customers are reusing it, so forth, but there's always a cost associated with your hardware. Terminations and touch points. These are also your hop-offs, because now I've got cameras and I got maybe edge or IoT devices, which we'll get into. We get into these things and we have to scale out these IDFs. So if I'm the customer, I've given you a certain amount of money. Hey, build it within this box. But day two, you started looking in the OPEX, and we'll talk about that, the operating cost of what it costs to maintain these, and why this, again, is going to be a very valuable tool for you in going forward. You look at the money, when we're talking about the money, there's different trades involved and so forth, but extenders, love them, I've used them, but here's the reality of them. They're just like these cell phones. Every 2 years, we have to go buy a new one because it just doesn't work anymore. Guess what? The same thing happens with extenders. So you start looking at IDFs and everything else, same thing. When we look at, I used to do a lot of colos, data centers, different things like this, but IDFs are a very, very expensive part of a project. And when you scale out an IDF, if I am building it out, I have to have certain cooling, certain powers. I got redundancy. I've got a lot of things that everybody knows. But if I can start eliminating these just to fulfill a need. But why should I put a 10 by 10 closet just to service 1 or 2 users just because they passed my threshold of 100 meters? So this is very much a very good conversation we can spend hours on just by itself. You get into the hassle of things, it's the points of failure, like we were talking about. You know, I once upon a time ago in my tenure, I was an integrator. So you get into points of failure going in there. I might not have been the first one in. I have to go find it. Hopefully the as-built are correct. It was mapped. So I'm spending resources and time and costs that are already I'm pulling in before I can even get started to figure out what the problem really is. So you get into the risk of it all. You know, there's a lot of things we can talk to, but one was brought to my attention on cybersecurity. And I love this topic because when you think of cybersecurity, it's a software application and so forth, but there's also an infrastructure situation. So if you've got unused ports or oversubscription, and you've got these here, you've got to maintain these ports. So getting that set up is really kind of one of the things here. And on labor, you know, when I was out there and I was an integrator, I was certified in fiber. So I was one of few people on our team that actually were fiber. And, you know, we were called in, we had a higher cost associated with us. We were pulled from job to job to get that kind of stuff done. With the GameChanger, what we're going to show you is it's a copper UTP solution. So now you get to have your whole team. You don't have to worry about this. Everybody here on this call knows how to terminate copper. We all learn that way. So now this is a solution that can be fully utilized, and you don't have to dread that 4 o'clock call on Friday that my camera doesn't work, or I need one added because I got a VIP showing up on Saturday or something like this. So it's going to give you a lot of flexibility. So this is identifying the problem, which to us was pretty obvious. How did we fix it? So when we got into doing the solution and through our R&D and our engineering, what we came up with was absolutely revolutionary. It just I really was taken back by it the first time I seen it as well. And what we were able to deliver was a full gigabit at 200 meters. So double the industry distance at 656 feet. So instead of 100 meter, 328, I'm 200 meters, 656, and I'm delivering a full gigabit of bandwidth and speed. What we also found that we can deliver was 10 meg up to 850 feet. So that's 259 meters. We're going 2.5 times the industry distance. Now, don't take my word for it because I'm going to prove it to you, and I'm going to do it right now. So what you're looking at right now is obviously you got 2 views of me. And what I'm going to reach for right here is I've got, and this is going to blow your mind because it did mine. When you get into category cabling, this isn't supposed to work. And you never have 850 feet coiled in a box with a live device doing H.264, 1080p, 30 frames a second. And I'm going to show you something, the cheapest thing I can find on Amazon for $29, just to prove to you that I don't have anything hidden up my sleeve, that, you know, you have a great switch and great hardware. Obviously, it magnifies the solution. But what I'm delivering right now is off a $29 switch. And again, show you nothing literally up my sleeve. So here's my Surface. And I do have a failure point of USB to Ethernet going on. So I'm showing you that it's working and it works beautifully. If you've ever seen us at any trade shows or anything else, you've probably played with it yourself. And some of you, which I'm hoping when we get into the Q&A, can talk about your experiences, which Blake and all of us have experienced already with a lot of the team members that are already using GameChanger. So when we got into this, you start getting into the standpoint of, you know, okay, you showed me it works, it looks great, you know, but I need a little bit more proof in the pudding here. So what we also liked and we're very honored to have is having this verification by UL. So every one of our boxes come with this watermark that comes from UL. And if you can go and Google GameChanger UL, and you're going to see all kinds of information, but they are backing up everything that I'm telling you. So from an end user standpoint or inspector or HJ or anybody that might come into a project going, what is this? You can point them to this in a great way because it backs up everything that we're saying. And we like UL. We love everybody in the standards industry, but one thing about UL is they're non-biased. They're not made up of manufacturers. They don't have any skin in the game to be a proprietary system or anything like this. So they are non-biased. And if you haven't heard of Paige, you definitely have heard of these guys. The other thing that I want to point you to is our testing partners. So when Dave and I were originally doing this, we were so excited. And, you know, we got out there and a lot of people were loving it, but they're like, okay, this is great, guys, but I need to certify this product. So if my integrators get a hold of this, they got to give me their as-built and do everything that I expect of them. We're like, yep. All right. So I guess proving to you if the lights come on and everything wasn't enough at that time. And again, I'm going back 4 years. But when you come into it now, you can see here that we have several testing partners available, Fluke, Vidavi, the Softing, so forth, you know, and again, I'm going to back these up with facts, just so you, if for all of you don't take my, I want to earn your trust with you. So I'm going to point you to places that you can find all kinds of information where this should give us the credibility we're hoping for in your eyes. Sorry, I'm just letting in a few extra folks there. So as we got into this, we were able to meet this criteria of testing and so forth. We had to figure out what type of products we were going to bring in the market. So what you're seeing right here is we have several different types of solutions or types of GameChanger that's available in the market. And we have obviously our riser, we have plenum. These are our standard colors with plenum in a solid white or a blue with a white stripe. And then we have outside plant in both shielded and unshielded. Now I want to clarify, when I get this question a lot in our OSP, is it a PE89 or direct barrel? It does require a conduit system. It's a water blocking material for all of us integrators out there. It has no icky pick. Very good. It's more of a hand soap, so it doesn't destroy your clothes. For all of you that know what that means, I'm sure you'll be happy about that. Lastly, we got one of our newest versions that's coming out. Well, it has came out this summer, and it's a Class 1 Div 1. And this is awesome product for hazardous and harsh environments. It actually replaces the need for rigid conduit systems. It meets the UL 2225 and 2250 certifications. So if you're in these types of spaces, you have that. We can give you all kinds of documentation to walk you through it. Paige does offer this one in the way that we can cut it to length. So we're not asking you to buy a 1,000-foot put up, or else you better have a forklift on the back of your truck because it's going to be heavy. But we will cut those and add the cable glands and different things you need. Just work with our team and just let us know what you need and we can help you through it. As we get into being a hero, now this is kind of one of our favorite parts, because when you get into talking to customers all the time, we've all... Sorry, whoever that was, I just kind of muted you on that one. But what we're going to do here is this basically recovering from blown budget. What I mean by this is we all get projects, and depending where we're at in the pecking order or who we're working with, if it's the GC developer or if we're working as a standalone, we're allowed a certain amount of money, as we all know. But sometimes these things change as the project evolves. RFIs happen, RFPs. Different things that are coming out, you get in there and you're going, okay, this is great. Or maybe they didn't do CAD or Revit or something like this, and all of a sudden you get out on a project and you're going, where did that HVAC duct come from? So now I got to really change my path and figure out how I'm going to accommodate this, but obviously there's a cost associated. The finding the money for the bells and whistles is probably one of the most fun, because as we sit with customers, just like I always use the example of when I want to go buy a car, where do I start? Showroom floor. I want that one, the shiny, flashy one that's super awesome. I want that one. And then they show me the price tag. And then next thing I know, I'm out in the parking lot going, well, I think I like that one better. It's just the reality of life. So our customers have the same experience. They go, I want the LPR camera. I want the multi-lens. I want the thermal. I want the multi-gig wireless access points. I want this, I want this, I want this. And you're like, great, here's your proposal. They see it and then they're like, well, we might have to scale that back. So we're going to show you a way that you're going to be able to be that hero to your customer in this next slide when we quantify this. And, responding to RFPs faster kind of ties back to that point where I said, HVAC duct, different things popping up. So most people, if they get these, their RFIs or anything else are coming through, with the GameChanger, because I have the flexibility of going 200 meters versus 100 meters, guess what? I don't have to change my IDF location. I just have to change my pathway. And this is going to allow me a lot of flexibility where the other guys are stuck in silos. I'm going to just play nice and easy with them. So this is how we become a hero with our customer and do things very, very quickly. Some of the other notes, I'm sorry, I'm just going to show you at the bottom here. I love these. But, for us cable nerds, these are Academy Awards. So you can see right there when we went to Bixby in the fall of 2017, it was our first showing when we brought this to the market. We actually won the Platinum Innovation Award from CI&M magazine. So we were very honored, very excited. This was our first showing, and we knew right then and there, this was something everybody wanted. Dave and I, we lost our voice and several others. It was like the old days. It was three rows deep all day long. It was super fun. The second time, about 6 months later, we showed up at ISE as is, and we won from SIA, Security International. We won their top shelf award for best in video surveillance hardware and accessories. The only reason I'm sharing this is just a lot of credibility from two major standards body recognizing this product, especially as we evolve in the market with infrastructure and smart buildings and so forth. So for us, those are the Academy Awards. Now, this is actually one of my favorite slides because we can come in here and show you very clearly and give you several testimonials from every vertical market out there that is using this product, loving this product, and now designing around this product. But what really comes into is looking at this from a different perspective when here's where the rubber meets the road. We had a particular customer and they saw the product at one of the shows and they asked this gentleman, Mark Bennett, to create an analysis, and he was kind enough to let us share this. But he goes, look, I like this product, but does it make sense for us? Can we incorporate this, and is it truly going to save us any money? Well, let's find out. So what he did is he looked at materials only, no labors involved here, okay? So all you're seeing is materials. But he was quantifying this on a 106 camera installation on an 800,000 plus square foot parking garage, pretty cookie cutter stuff. It's not really too complicated, but there is a lot of moving pieces. But what makes this interesting is when we start getting into the pricing of it. So option A is obviously the GameChanger that you're seeing right here, and it's our riser rated GameChanger. And I want to also draw your eye to a couple little things right here, and that's going to be the quantities of 38,000, 5, and 5. It's going to be the same right here when we get into the option B with Cat6 with extenders, but that's going to be where everything kind of changes and gets interesting. Because when they had put in the 24 port surge protection and they landed it in a permanent link, the material cost, get this, for 106 camera installation and 800,000 plus 1,000 feet, $22,000. That is awesome. You get into looking at option B, which would be your traditional way of looking at a copper solution is, okay, I'm going to use my same amount of 38,000 feet. I'm going to land it again on a surge protection, and I'm going to put in on a permanent link panel. Again, like I said, these stayed the same, static. What makes this interesting is what the conversation I was having with a gentleman, he's like, Tony, why would I pay 40 cents a foot in this example when I can get riser rated for 14 cents a foot? That doesn't make sense. I'm spending $10,000, I'm saving $10,000 doing my Cat6 if I'm looking line by line by line. I said, that's fine. Let's take it all the way through the TCO. Let's look at this for what it really is. Let's look at that. And he goes, okay, fair enough. So he had to put extenders on every camera at 106 of them. He extends out to about $40,000. Remember, I'm 22 grand. Here's $40,000 in failure points. Now he had to put the same 16 port rack mount IDF extenders at these locations. That extends out to another $50,000. So again, double the cost on just having a sustainable, terminated, end-to-end pointed solution. So it really comes into looking at it from a TCO. You can make the GameChanger $2 a foot, and it's still going to be less expensive than having something I'm going to have to maintain and also have to document, and they're going to be something that my customer's going to deal with at all times. And if you've got a service contract out there where you're eating these types of costs, this is the last thing you want to keep doing is coming back and doing stuff like that. So something to take away. You get into powered fiber or hybrid fiber. Love the product, used it. Like I told you, I was an old fiber guy, but here's the reality of it. You get into powered fiber, there's a lot of other costs. You also have logistical issues that you can have with your active opticals. You can do a lot of things when you're getting in or waiting to get these things done. When they extended this out, and one of the things, it was about $126,000. There's a $100,000 delta in this example between the GameChanger and powered fiber, and there's about 70-something thousand, let's say close to $80,000 delta in savings between standard Cat6 with the extenders and GameChanger. Remember when I was trying to say how to be a hero? Well, guess what? This is how we do it. Because now when we're going into it, as some of you estimators out there and project managers are going, wait a minute, Tony, I don't want you discounting the cost of my or devaluing my project. That's just not why we're in business, right? But what I'm trying to show you is what if you can take that bucket and shift it? So now I have a equated cost and I've got a savings to my customer, whether it's, let's say, $80,000 or $100,000. Wouldn't it be great to go back to that customer and go back to those bells and whistles list and go, hey, remember those LPRs, or remember those thermal cameras or whatever you were wanting on that list that you just couldn't go back to the board and get the money? What if I can tell you I can give them to you? You don't have to ask the board for anything. What do you think? You become their best friend because you gave them what they wanted, and you were able to also not discount your project value. What it's going to do is allow you to move more into the bells and whistles or the features of, upgraded chassis, upgraded hardware, upgraded cameras, whatever it is, from access points or whatever the device may be, but you can take them there and you're not asking them for extra funds. So that's where I really kind of love where we can start looking at how this quantifies in projects. And one thing also, as a lot of you know, that was missed in the powered fiber, it would just make mine more compelling. But if you add in the EC costs of putting in dedicated circuits and everything else that's going to be required for all those media converters and devices, it's going to inflate that cost even higher. So I don't need to do it, for example. I think this is very clear here, and it's really kind of fun. And I'm hoping when we get in the Q&A of this that we'll be pulling this back up for a lot of you. This is just a nice example. This was done with Axis, and we're in the Axis library. We're a development partner where we play nice, and we work with all camera manufacturers out there. So if that question's on your mind, this was just kind of nice that they actually were publishing this. This one was an actual project where we saved the customer about $30,000. Everybody's going, how do you do that? It was a 3-camera install. Well, it was really coming down back to the build out of the IDF, the permitting costs, the 6-week delays, everything else for the scalability, just to build a IDF to service these 3 camera points. So it came into a $30,000 savings. And we also were able to pull this off within a few days versus weeks. So it really captured the attention of the customer and so forth. So that was really exciting. So just to reiterate where we're at here, what we've done is this. Again, we've done a full gigabit, and and when I say full gig, I'm saying full gigabit, 656 feet. And we haven't even gotten to the fun part, but I support all 4 types of PoE. So type 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is no voltage drop, no performance loss, these distances. So you can do 10 meg at 850. Now we have a voltage drop chart that talks about voltage classifications and everything. I'll pull up towards the end that really will do a deeper dive on that. But for everybody that needs to know, this is going to support those types of devices. And this is where this product just keeps evolving. It was created for a solution, but it became the solution for everything. And it really helps people. The pro tip that you see mentioned right there is this something that happened once, and that's all it had to take. And what we noticed is when you get into some of these managed PoE switches, sometimes the ping and the auto negotiate and everything, there's really not a consistent rate of when everybody's going to do this. It's very inconsistent. So what was happening is that it knew the device was there, but it was having problems. And this was when we passed the threshold of 200 meters. So when you get into 10 meg, like I was showing you on my camera, it works beautifully. All you do is you go over to the switch, you set it to 10 meg, great, done. It's just like we see each other right now. But some folks out there, I've asked the question, and I've got mixed responses from people all over the country. Is some folks don't want everybody touching hardware or switches. That's just not their core ability. Well, if that's not fit in this fit within that 200 meter application, you don't have to worry about anything. You can set it at a gig or 10 meg, doesn't matter. But if you do happen to get in these longer distance reaches and you're going at 656 or 850 feet, it's just a great thing to do. Once you do it, it's done. And I can't tell you how many times it's just a quick phone call and everybody's super happy. There's that hologram that I was mentioning earlier that comes on every box. There's the UL verification number. Everything of the report we're talking about is in their verification. So if you want to do a little homework or do any fact checking with me, please, I encourage it. One of the other things is, this is where it gets kind of interesting. We developed this for the security and CCTV space. But again, us being nerds that we are, we're like, what else can we do with it? Because it's not just security that has issues like this, but it is actually, the voice and data folks out there in the space I came from, we were looking at wireless access points. This is a great example. And we have a lot of customers that are deploying wireless access points on these projects, and we're doing multi-gig, we're doing 60 watts at multi-gig, we're doing a lot of different things. Basically, voice over IP. I've had a customer that ran 1,000 feet with. I couldn't certify it, but I know it went 1,000 feet. We had Code Blue out there that actually did 1,006 feet, and it's on their website. They called it Lengthonomics. Now we play nice with all the like MCOM systems. We do talk phone, airphone. We love all those guys. It was just a document that's out there if you want to do your homework. We have more coming with our partners, so I'm really excited. I've talked to MCOM and others. So they're getting ready to do some case studies. There'll be some additional publications on that particular topic. So we're excited, more to come. But you get into digital signage, speakers, IP. If it's IP and it's PoE type protocol, it's going to support it. We've got customers out there now that are even using it for irrigation controls. So we have a couple university friends that have looked at this, and they were asked by their facilities team to put it on the network. And they said, hey, Tony, you think it'll work? I go, oh, no, one way to find out. So we went out there and tested, evaluated, and we've been watching it for like 60 to 90 days. No hiccups, no nothing. Worked just like everything else we were already supporting. And now we have landscape architects calling us now. That's something we didn't set out to do, but that's pretty awesome, if you ask me. So that was pretty cool. When you get into, so a lot of other things is what's the difference? So I'm not looking at the chat. Forgive me for whoever's doing this. David, if you don't mind, kind of keep an eye on that chat. I only have one screen surface, so forgive me. I'm not a multi-screen guy, so I don't want to take away from what we're doing here.
Hey, Tony, is there anybody in the waiting room? Somebody just DM me. They're waiting to get in.
Oh, I'm
people
sorry.
in there?
I don't see anybody, but let's make sure.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, Mel is in there. Sorry. Thank you for catching that. I appreciate that, Blake.
Okay, good.
And
yeah,
I'm monitoring.
Okay, good. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat as we continue.
Yep.
All right. That's all I got.
Thanks,
Tony.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Do you need Tony to speed up at all?
No, we're good on time. You can take a breath or a drink of water if you want, but we're good.
If you know me, this is one speed, and this is
I know, yeah. Yes, the last presentation, Ray Klein said, "Does this guy take a breath?" There's so much information, though. Keep going. You got it.
There's a lot to talk about, and I'm trying to keep it within an hour. Usually, I can spend 4 hours with customers as we do.
Right.
So, sorry about that.
You're good.
I deserve that. Okay, fair enough. So here comes the other fun part: is how did we do it, right? So you look at twisted pair copper. It's passive, and it's a lot of things. And one thing I want to mention here on a couple things as I deepen this side. This is open architecture, open system, everybody. We will give you a warranty, a 25-year warranty with accredited. If you do your fluke test results or anything else, you give us all your test results. You're working with a quality connectivity partner, and I don't have to name them all. You folks know who they are. You provide these documents. It's set up to be this way. So it's open architecture. So for your form, fit, and function, you might have some customers that like a certain connectivity partner. Great. Go ahead and keep it. Their integration is the same. This is going to be the infrastructure supporting it. So that's one thing. Second thing is that we do actually have this patented. And the reason I bring up the patent is not to just say, oh, guess what? It's a patented item. It's to prove a point that when they do, the U.S. Patent Office issues something like this, and anybody that's ever dealt with this understand that this is not an easy task. They do their diligence to make sure it's not a conflict of interest with anybody. So to be able to receive something like this is a big compliment, and we knew that we were listening to the market. So I bring that up. The other part of this is the difference in the cable. So you've got, let me let Patrick in here. Whoa, sorry about that. Don't know how that just went. Sorry, I just lost my chat screen. All right, so we'll have to let Patrick in. Let me get through this slide. So when you start with normal category 6 solution, it's a 23 gauge copper. Okay, so this is a 22 gauge copper, and a lot of people might think that actually we've got, like there's LP cables or different things out there, but there are 5E cable designed around lighting in different situations. This is an applications cable. But the reason we love the 22 gauge is in the combination of these 3 items plus supporting the power over Ethernet. We didn't want to develop a solution that was going to be just a fix it for now. It needed to be sustainable. It needed to grow with our customers. And these are the combination that allowed us to do this. What we did is we increased the copper size by 20%. And then we say that in the little right there in the parentheses, it was larger than Cat6. But just like anything else, there's copper clad aluminum, there's a lot of things. You can maximize the gauge size. So that was one thing that Paige did, that we did not want to go cheap on this. So we truly maximized the full potential of the copper in the 22 gauge conductor. Second thing is looking at the twists. If you standardize and look at this from a different type of cable, first thing you're going to notice right off the bat is the spline is removed. We didn't need it because of how we changed all the other different components of this. But what we did change was the lay links, the individual twists in the conductors, the segmented twist, the overall twist, and the combination of these different things through this algorithm allowed us to stretch this cable, increase the copper stays. And the third little icon, other than, you know, having Tinkerbell and pixie dust and spreading on there, basically we use the best products that we can possibly find. So again, just like you make anything else out there, you can go a little less expensive or you can go top shelf. So this is top shelf. We meet all the criteria from Rojas, and our manufacturing and everything else is done, but you can use better products. The combination of these three things allowed us to achieve this wonderful product that we're introducing to you. So there's your secret sauce. And I like I said, I was bringing up the patent because I can tell you now, because it's been issued. So there it is. When you get into this one, it's kind of fun just to talk about. It's just a nice slide, but 6 out of the 8 largest integrators per the top 100. And this is growing every day. And we're so excited, can't keep up with how that's growing. But people have standardized on this. So if you're working for subcontractors out there like JCI, or maybe you are JCI, or you're working with other ones and your company is standing alone, know that this has been vetted. We're saying this for validity and credibility, so that you're not putting your neck or your reputation on the line. We're going to back you up. Well, the other thing is we work within the airport community. So we are standardized with several international airports. This continues to grow. Very excited to say this. And they've started out with just camera spaces. Then we led into wireless access points. Then we led into digital signage. We lived into several different applications, and it continues to evolve from one of our GameChanger product types for them. You get into, we do a lot in the transportation space. We do a lot with large retailers, people probably get delivered to your house. You got large banks and so forth. You can see the list, but getting through amusement parks and all the different folks that we work with, it's really nice to know that you are not the guinea pig. So that's what the takeaway is from this slide. Lastly, before I get into the POE side of this, and I'll briefly set on this. This is a nice landing page. So David, that's on the phone, he's the guru behind our marketing, and we're really proud of this because it didn't look so good before. But thanks to Dave, he made it look really nice. And what we did is we put all of our marketing in one spot. And basically on the Paige Datacom /GameChanger, what you can find is live videos, spec sheets, case studies, videos, anything you can possibly need about this product in one space. So all of us that have went out there navigating websites, trying to find the parts and pieces, it's kind of frustrating when you're under the gun. Everything's in one spot, so it makes it easy. The live chat is also a nice little feature here. What you'll see there is a bot will come in just for a couple of seconds to make sure that you are a live person, nothing malicious. Once we identify this, there is kind of a running bet to see if we can beat this, but we're about 30 seconds or less, and you got somebody live, and it's usually David, and he'll be smiling, asking how he can help you, and then our phones will be ringing next. But it's kind of nice that it's there, so it doesn't matter, and he does a wonderful job keeping an eye on that. Lastly, what I wanted to bring up is this voltage chart before we bring it into conclusion and Q&A. But I like to bring this slide up for a lot of reasons, because as we're looking at cameras and security and everything else, PoE is not going away. It really is revolutionized on how we're doing a lot of our electronics and our devices, so it's exciting. But a lot of people ask the question, how does it support it? So this nice graph bundles it up, and we're going to switch between type 3 and 4. The graph's the same, but what I want you to look at here is the dotted line is the GameChanger. So that's our GameChanger. What the legend that you're seeing, the light gray and the below is the gigabit, and it's referencing 656, and 850 is the charcoal gray at 850. The legend you're seeing on the right is our voltage classification. So if you understand PoE and somebody goes, I got 15 watt PoE, so you got 13 watts to the device. Yes. Okay. So as they could reference this way, but what you'll see is that we do not fall below or anything else at this point. So it supports it from a PoE application as well as the performance, no degradation. As you lead into 30 watt or 25 and a half at the device, the same thing. But the note here is when you look at 55, 57 volt classification, it's well above the line. Pretty much every device out there in the market on these types of platforms work within 55, 57 volt. They're not going to be your 50, 52 volt. There is those anomalies out there. And if that is the case, this is good information to know what you're getting into before it is, because we don't make claims of something if we can't do it 100%. You get into type 3 and 4 or BT, it's the same thing. And you'll notice again at these distances that we are not falling below these thresholds. So we're supporting 55, 57 volt classifications at these different PoE at 60 or 90 or UPoE, however you want to call it. They've got so many names now, and everybody laughs at me that I know every acronym, but there's a lot. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's really wanted to bring everybody to, the GameChanger. I'm really excited to show this. I will take a drink of water when this is done, but it's fun. So it's just a product that I really, truly enjoy. So I'm going to kind of unmute everybody, and then we can start addressing some of the calls here. How do I unmute everybody?
You don't have to unmute everyone, but anyone who wants to speak is able to click unmute me and is able to ask questions. You can also put them in the Q&A chat space or press the raise hand button on the participant side.
Yeah, I see there's a lot of, yep, it's a couple years on. So we're looking here.
I'm going to jump in. I know there's a question I received privately in the chat, but I think it's good for everyone. I was asking about distribution support. So you can find GameChanger at many of your favorite distributors. Wesco and ADI are the premier distributors that we're working with at the moment. And I'll give a tease, Blake, to this crowd right now and let them know that an announcement's coming next week. And check this space, because there will be an exciting announcement about additional distribution coming probably next week. But in addition to that, I can tell you that I know a lot of you are in the Nashville area. For example, Accutech has stock in the Nashville area, and there's other branches across the country where if we don't necessarily have a corporate to corporate level of support, that there's still branch support. So if you have a question about the best way to buy GameChanger, the best way to do that is to connect with your regional director from Paige, Tony, who covers the Southeast and up into the Great Lakes area. Taylor Matthews, who's also on this webinar right now and covers the central portion of the country as well as the Northeast. And Kevin Balcom, hi Taylor. And Kevin Balcom, who covers the West. And all of us work with manufacturers reps, and you have we have a great roster of manufacturers reps locally, and we can maybe put that up on the screen as well in a second to show you who our manufacturers reps are. So I knew that was a good question, so thank you for Rashid who had asked it, and because I imagine there's others who had that same question.
Yeah, Blake even had Keith Steele with security reps already on one of his on his logs. So that was really great. I was really excited to see that. So that's great. Does anybody have any questions about what the product does, or is there any applications? I saw the chat, looks like David answered it on the test equipment and stuff like that, but is there any questions that we can answer for you? We've been out there on sites working directly with customers, integrators, all the above, A&Es, everything for the last 4 years. So we've got a very good knowledge of how people have overcome things. We also, if you're interested, or if you write your own standards or different things like this, we do have Division 27 documentation. Just let us know if that's something you want to use for cut and paste, integrating into your own type of documents. But we have all the documents that support all this as well. And that covers your TIA, everything else. So it's got reference to all these different wiring and all the schematics, and they're the most updated documents out there.
I got in the call kind of late. Does this cable work with like standard Cat6 connectors, or do you have some specialty connectors because of the 22 gauge?
I love that question, and forgive me for not bringing that up earlier. That's a great question. So any Cat6 connector out there will pretty much work. So the IDCs that seat the conductors will span from 22 to 24 gauge. So if you're landing in on a permanent link or an outlet, pretty much any Cat6 out there will work. When it comes in the mod-ins, we're vendor neutral on this. We wanted it to be open source. We like the Platinum products. We make a recommendation, we refer to it, but we're not holding your hand to the point saying if you don't do it our way, you're going to have problems. We just found after we've done so many terminations at trade shows and demonstrating this over and over again, they're just super easy. And it's actually like the EXO tool from Platinum. So it's very simple. It cuts, terminates, scripts the mod ins in one motion, but we're again not going to hold you to this. It is open source, open architecture. It will support.
Tony, would you mind making me the host? I want to share a couple of things on my screen.
Yeah, no problem.
So yeah, so Tony answered the question great about the connectors, and he's right. There are others that work well and may be a little bit more expensive, and there's others also that are less expensive that work with our system. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is make it easy for you to be able to quickly, terminate the product. And again, GameChanger's designed to make your job faster and easier. So,
you're the host.
Thank you, sir. So what I'm showing here is the, I'm going to move it to this screen so you can still not see the side of my face. This document here describes some of the listed connectors, both from Platinum Tools and another company, Simply 45. And these are the male connectors that we recommend. But if you're punching down to a jack or a patch panel, any Cat6 compliant connectivity is going to work. So the standard for Cat6 supports 22 to 26 gauge. The GameChanger, as Tony mentioned, are 22 gauge conductors. And so when you're punching down, these 22 gauge conductors are going to fit into any of those jacks or patch panels. And it's really the modular ends that we want to bring your attention to. And because I kind of talked about it briefly, I'll just put this up now. This is the list of our wonderful reps, by the way, some of whom are on the call with us right now. So you could take a look at what part of the country you are in and see who your local rep is. And at the bottom of the screen, you'll see who your local regional director is as well. I'm seeing another question come in. Oh no, it's just a hello. Hi, Mel.
Yeah, Melody's awesome.
Is this a plenum rated cable? But will it hold up to 200 meters in a ceiling with electrical and hundreds of data cables in a large building? Great question. The answer, Daryl, is yes. We do have the GameChanger available in multiple constructions. I'm going to just pull up those constructions again, which include riser, plenum, outside plant, and a shielded version of the outside plant, and the hazardous location. And as it relates to heat, one of the benefits of an increased conductor gauge size is the fact that more copper means your heat dissipates faster. And the NEC electrical code, National Electrical Table for heat dissipation is going to show you that you could have up to 192 of these GameChanger cables in a single bundle before you have any sort of issues with heat. So absolutely great question, and yes is the answer.
Nice. These are all great questions. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so real
Solid
quick.
copper, not copper clad aluminum, since it has a UL listing. Yes. So this is a premium product, and we understand. Actually, you're not going to find any category cables from Paige that are copper clad aluminum. Everything that we're going to be doing is bare copper. And somebody saying, can we show the pass-through jars? Well, this right here shows an example of those connectors from Platinum Tools, the pass-through connectors and the jars that they come in.
Yep. And if you get the shielded ones, by any chance, they're like packs like this. And we recommend the shielded ones when you get into the OSP shielded, so you can keep your shield continuous. But that's the only time it's a different connector recommendation.
Yeah, you'll also notice actually in the Platinum Tools line, the Cat6 connectors, the EasyEX 44s are what we recommend for the riser and the plenum. And then the EasyEX 48s, which the difference is Cat6 and Cat6A. And the number 44 and the number 48 represents the size of the actual insulated conductor that can fit into them. And so the 48 being a little larger works better for the OSP versions. And then, of course, in OSP, we have shielded and not shielded, which is why we have the two different options there.
That's them right there. These are great questions. I really appreciate it. Is there any, I know there's some folks on here that have used the product and everything else. Anybody want to be a testimonial of using the product or anything like that? Because that's always nice to have people hear it from others other than the guy that's trying to, introduce it to you. I'd rather the market talk than me. Oh,
Yeah,
come
I
on.
don't know if William Neville or Raymond Karam are on the call or not, but those are two of the guys that they're both directors and ambassadors of LVN, and they kind of got you guys in the door because I heard so many good things about Paige. They've used it quite extensively, and they had a lot of good things to say about it. So that was encouraging, or else you wouldn't be on this call right now.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
We've got 200 people that work at Paige, and none of us are in marketing. So one of the challenges, good or bad, I don't know. Our technology is better than our marketing, that's for sure. And as a result, sometimes we don't have the biggest or best megaphone in front of our voice. And it's really word of mouth that has been what's driven GameChanger to the point that it's at today. And we really do appreciate all of the ambassadors, all of the installers, the folks that have used it because they bought it or used it because they were the subcontractor and that's how they heard about it or someone told them about it. And they thought, a simplified job sounds good to me. They gave it a shot. They really liked it and they told their friends about it as well. So we really do appreciate that.
Yeah, just putting on here, somebody was asking about the right tools in the chat regarding, so I was just letting everybody know it's the EXO tool.
And yeah, so Abe is mentioning that we should, use either the Simply 45 or the EX44 and make sure that you don't try to use one tool with another manufacturer's product. You'll see the part numbers that are listed here for the tools and the connectors and the associated accessories.
Those are all
Cool.
great questions.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm looking for any questions on LinkedIn or Slack. Don't see anything else.
So what's everybody think? I'm curious about that. Don't be shy. I'm not.
We got to put it to test. We got to get it on everybody's truck. Cause I know that, I was talking to one person, he said, well, I need this on my truck. I need at least one spool just in case, but it obviously comes in handy, on larger projects as well. So yeah, we gotta get our hands on it and then we'll let you know.
Right.
Yep.
We also just got one more question. I saw somebody said, is it made in the USA? The answer is yes, it is made in the USA. All the GameChanger product that we are selling into the North American market is made here in the US. And we're selling it internationally as well. And in the international markets, it happens to be made internationally. So, but everything that you'll get your hands on to use here is made here.
Yep. Thanks for bringing that up, Dave.
No problem.
It seems like a very interesting product. I actually look forward to hopefully using it in the future with some of the larger scale dormitory and warehouse projects that I'm presently bidding on. It'll definitely save us some IDF space and hopefully bring the cost down. And you guys have been wonderful in explaining the product. I'm going to check out your website and look at it some more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abe. The one thing I'll leave you all with is, kind of what the life cycle looks like for a GameChanger installer. Typically the first thing people say is, if that does what you say it does, then it really is a game changer. And they sort of think to themselves, man, I wish I knew about this 2 months ago because I had a project
Right.
it really would have helped out on. And then they sort of graduate. And the next time they have a problem, they think, oh man, all right, I know the solution to that problem. But when you really get to the point where, like Abe just said, I've got this project, this warehouse coming up, and I'm going to think about it in advance before I have a problem. I'm going to use this as a tool to help me consolidate the design, simplify the design, and be able to give to my customer a proposal that's going to go faster. It's going to be less expensive. And when it comes time for maintenance, I'm not renting a scissors lift to go to the top of the warehouse and fix something or service something that may also, by the way, be taking up space that warehouse would have liked to use for holding inventory, or it's not at the bottom of the floor where, you know, it's getting hit by a forklift driving by. You have the flexibility of placing these things and fewer of them in places that are going to be the absolute ideal location. And you just ultimately deliver a simplified and better solution. And so that's kind of how we like to see the maturation and the life cycle of a GameChanger installer. You go from hearing about it to thinking about using it as a tool to really enable a lot of other things for you.
Yep. Yep.
Very
it's been
good.
nice. Yep.
Yeah. So yes, David Coleman, he is in the Slack workspace. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to him, and then I have Tony's contact information. I'm sure a lot of you have his information as well, and we'll get you access to all the slides or whatever else you guys need. So just let me know, or you can reach out to David if you have any questions in the Slack workspace. Was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on, Tony or David, before we get off?
I wanted to focus on the GameChanger. We have other things that I think this group would be interested in. We can talk, but I wanted to not have everybody drink from a fire hose. You already got that from me, so I think I'd better just relax from there. So,
last thing I just want to leave you with is, you know, we see what Low Voltage Nation is doing, and we really appreciate it. This industry has a real need for a community like the one that's being built here, with folks who, you know, whose voice needs to be heard. So we appreciate what you're doing. We're happy to be a small part of it.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. Hope we did well with the hot seat. This is the first one. So
Yeah, I think it was great.
All right, good.
We need to get more hats. I love the hat you're wearing. We need to get everybody that buys the GameChanger, we'll get them a hat. How about that?
I like it.
We'll work something out. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for hopping on, and I really appreciate it. We'll be in touch soon. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.